Why did Americans fight each other for 4 years? Let's discover this terrifying history together.
Why did Americans fight each other for 4 years? By the mid-19th century, the United States faced a major problem, a deep divide between the northern and southern parts of the country. The northern states quickly developed an industrial economy, where factories, trade, and wage labor expanded. In contrast, the southern states were mainly agricultural and depended on slavery to run cotton plantations. These economic differences gradually turned into political and social conflicts. People in the North opposed slavery and demanded that it be banned in the new territories. However, the southern states believed that this was a direct attack on their economic and social system. In the 1850s, the situation became even more complicated. When new states were being admitted, the question arose whether slavery would be allowed there. This debate created a major national political crisis. Various laws and compromises temporarily eased the situation, but they did not solve the main problem. In 1860, after Abraham Lincoln was elected president, many southern states felt that their rights were under threat. As a result, they seceded from the Union and formed the Confederate States. In 1861, the conflict began, which later became known as the American Civil War. This war was not only political but also became an event that transformed the future structure of the country. In 1861, the United States officially became divided into two parts, and the American Civil War began: Union North versus Confederate States South. This war became one of the deadliest and most devastating conflicts in American history. At the beginning of the war, both sides believed they were strong enough to win. The South relied on its experienced military leadership and the advantage of fighting on familiar territory, while the North had significant advantages in population, industry, and weapons production. As the war continued, it spread across the country. One devastating battle followed another, claiming the lives of thousands of soldiers. Battles such as Gettysburg and Antietam became known as some of the most important and bloodiest engagements of the Civil War. During this period, President Abraham Lincoln expanded the purpose of the war beyond simply preserving the Union. He also presented it as a fight against slavery. In 1863, he issued the Emancipation Proclamation, which declared freedom for enslaved people in the Confederate States. This decision became a turning point in the war. The North gradually gained strength because it possessed a more advanced industrial economy, a larger railway network, and greater access to resources and supplies. In contrast, the South became increasingly weakened, as its economy depended heavily on agriculture and slavery. By 1865, Confederate forces began to suffer a series of defeats. Eventually, the South surrendered, bringing the Civil War to an end. The United States was reunited as a single nation once again. This war was not merely a political conflict. It fundamentally transformed American society, the economy, and the history of human rights in the United States.